everyone, it's Justine and welcome to day 8 of the 12 Days of Christmas series featuring the Mama Elephants Alpine Carolers stamp set. We're going to create this fun card today. So I don't have any really big cardstock or 12 by 12 cardstock anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a piece of 10 by 5 cardstock and score it in the middle at 5 inches. And I'm going to do this 2 times. So again, that's 10 by 5 inches scored in the middle at 5 inches to give me 2 pieces that measure 10 by 5. This is going to give me an extra long piece of cardstock to work with so I can make a card that folds in 3 ways and still be big enough to not be too small. So I'm going to cut out a front panel here of one of these pieces, and I'm using a stitched square die from My Favorite Things, and I am going to be saving both pieces. So I'm going to save the card that I just scored as well as the square in the middle that I'm cutting out. Because I really like the stitching and the design on the square itself, I decided why not do my actual background on that square piece. So I'm just going to pop that out and then we're going to get started. Alright, so I'm going to take both of these pieces that I just cut out earlier and I'm just going to fold them on their fold lines, and then we're just going to attach them together to make a tri-fold card. Now this is going to be a window card, not a shaker card, so I'm just going to be gluing this piece in the middle here so that it can open up the way I just showed you. So again, I'm going to put my full piece over on the right and glue the left hand side of it, and I'm going to take my piece on the left and I'm going to place it on top. This is going to give me a tri-fold card that is going to open from each side. Using the square piece we cut out earlier, I wanted to create my scene. So I'm going to be placing my Mama Elephant Alpine Caroler figures here. I'm just going to use 3 out of the 4 of them today. And I'm going to place them onto my cardstock and rearrange my scene the way I see fit. And then I'm going to stamp it using my MISTI. Alright, so I'm just going to attach my little panel here to the card, and I'm going to be stamping this using Memento black ink. And I also wanted to create a snowbank to make some snow on the card. So I just cut freehand a piece of computer paper and just throwing it onto my card here, and then I'm just going to stamp it. Now the snow is going to end up being white, so that means that some of their feet are going to be covered by the snow. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that twice because some of the images didn't stamp quite right the first time, and the reason why is because it's a brand new stamp set, which is totally normal, and that's why the MISTI is so great. I don't have to worry about seasoning my stamps beforehand. I'm going to take the music notes here, and I'm going to actually be using some white embossing powder to emboss these white music notes. So I'm going to be stamping that in VersaFine ink, stamping it onto my card, and then I'm going to be covering it with white embossing powder, heating it up so that it's going to resist the background afterwards. The only thing about this is I accidentally put one of the music notes upside down, so I had to scrape the powder off of it with a dry paintbrush, and now I only have 2 of the actual music notes on my scene. I'm just going to use some removable adhesive or some non-permanent adhesive to put my snowbank down once again so that I can do the background and the snow can be protected. So I'm going to be using 3 colors to do my background: tumbled glass, chipped sapphire, and salty ocean. So I'm going to be using my mini blending tool here, the round one, and I'm going to be creating a scene. I'm going to speed you up in fast mode for time's sake. So I'm going to be building up my night sky from light to dark. So I'm starting off with the tumbled ocean and then working my way into, my tumbled glass, then working into salty ocean, then working into chipped sapphire. But I accidentally forgot to add my masking. So what I did was I stamped these 3 figures on masking paper, cut them out, and then covered them using the masking paper, which is a sticky paper. And now it's going to resist all of the blue that I'm putting on the paper. Now I only got a little bit on the little dad there, which wasn't a big deal because the Copic markers I'm going to be using are darker than that little bit of blue color that I got on him, so it's not a big deal. So I'm moving into the salty ocean now in the medium color here. I wanted to start off with a light color because usually the snow reflects quite a bit and it's really light in the night sky right above the snow, and then it works its way darker as the night progresses. So now you can see the 2 music notes that I embossed, and I added some stars using a white gel pen, and I just randomly put the stars on there in no particular order. I'm going to begin my Copic coloring. I'm going to put on some music for you to enjoy while I'm coloring. Okay, now that I'm finishing up here with the Copic coloring, you can see that I'm not really doing too much shading and nothing really all that special. Just using reds and greens and blues colors that are Christmassy and that are going to tie into the night sky as well to color my image. And then I'm able to remove the actual snowbank, and you'll be able to see that there. Now the father is slightly off of the snow. We're just going to say he's jumping, but nobody's going to really notice that unless they're looking at the card really carefully. So I'm going to put some Tombow Mono Liquid Adhesive onto my square panel here, and I'm going to use the front of the card for placement. So I'm going to close the front of the card right now, place my square in the middle there, and then lift up that frame again because I'm going to be adding a transparency sheet to it, or a window frame, which I'm going to also emboss. However, before I do that, I wanted to stamp a sentiment on the snow of the actual card. So I took one of the sentiments from the stamp set, stamping it once again with my Misty here. Stamping's nothing new, so I'm just putting it in a bit fast mode here to save some time so the video's not super long. I'm going to stamp it Memento Black ink, and it is going to say it is the most wonderful time of the year, which I think is really adorable. And then I am going to glue on the window. Now, I would recommend, now that I've made this card, that you actually do the embossing on the window frame sheet before gluing it down on the front of the card, because it did warp my card slightly with the heat. So again, I'm going to stamp a sentiment onto the front panel of this card. Do that first before gluing, if you're copying this card or casing it at all. So the sentiment I'm going to be stamping on the window is called Fa La La La. Now you do need transparency sheets or window sheets, cling sheets that are heat resistant, so you have to use one of those. I'm just going to pour some white embossing powder over it, and then I'm just going to heat emboss it with my heating tool off screen. So now I have the Fa La 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 on the window. I've got my little guys on my scene, and now I'm just going to stamp the inside of the card. Now because this card is so long, I'm going to have to stamp with my Misty Soar horizontally, and then I'm just going to stamp a few ornaments and Merry and Bright in the corner. The ink colors I'm using for this are Green Apple from Simon Says Stamp and Lipstick Red from Simon Says Stamp. And then I'm simply drawing in the actual lines with a black pen myself. I found that easier than stamping it, just because the stamp is so thin that it sometimes falls over on its side. And it's just easier for me to just do it with a ruler and a pen. And then I'm just going to simply stamp the sentiment, also in the Lipstick Red color. But before doing that, I'm just going to add this little bow on the top of each of the ornaments in Memento Black ink. And then the Merry and Bright is going to go in the bottom right-hand corner so that I have enough room to write my sentiments later. Now, I just wanted to let you know that Mama Elephant is giving away the Alpine Caroler stamp set. You can enter by leaving a comment on the video or click on my blog link below, and you can see many ways to win over on my blog as well. All the supplies used are linked to below in the video description or over on my blog with direct links to the stores. And you can click to go to my blog as well on the top here. Over on the right, you can click to subscribe to my channel. And if you click the photo, you can see day 8 from last year, that video there. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 9.